I guess the real question is how I let it kind of get so bad. Uh, a little background. When I was growing up and just turning 21, I was in Multnomah Village. It's a place here in Oregon. It's a little nook town right next to Portland, and kind of getting my legs as a adult. And John's Marketplace, great place. But I lived right next to it. Hey, kitty. And all it had was beer there. And I mean lots of beer. Beer as far as the eye could see. And every day it was a new type of beer. And that really didn't start off my problem. But it didn't help. Every day, 2 or 3 beers. It was pretty bad. But, you know, just turned 21. I would say it's almost kind of normal. So I did kind of pass it off. So I went to live on the ocean and study. And what people kind of don't tell you is that a lot of people, what they like to do when they have night watch, because you always have to have somebody on watch, is they have a little bit of whiskey or something of that nature to keep yourself warm. Even though it's not keeping you warm, it sure feels a lot warmer. I mean, the Pacific Ocean gets cold, and it's really cold at night. There were parts on being on that ocean that every day we had to shovel snow and actually pickaxe snow off our top deck. And so drinking, it kind of just happened. It definitely wasn't getting sloshed, but it was definitely drinking. And the thing about drinking is that when you drink over a long period of time, you drink more and you drink more. And so I got a land job for a little bit over in Depot Bay, and I was starting I was transitioning to sea otters to salmon, which is what I do now. And I got up in the middle of the morning, so 9 o'clock. I don't know. I was used to getting up way earlier than that, but I was getting up, and I remember I was pouring coffee. And I had rum, and I was already pouring rum into my coffee, and I was like, why am I doing this? Why would I need to be? I'm in a house now. And then I realized, oh, I've got a problem. Like, it happened like that. I mean, you don't realize it, you know, you're drinking around a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden it's like, I have a problem. And now I have a bigger problem, because, you know, some stuff happened to me, my brother dying really sucked, and that didn't make me drink more. If anything, it made me drink less. But, you know, things happened to me, and it came to light about how much I was really drinking. At first, I didn't really care how much I was really drinking, and now it's like, well, you have cancer. And cancer changes a lot of things, and one of the things it changes is that you can't really have processed sugar anymore. That's the big bad thing to have. And guess what alcohol is? So, I know I'm totally hypocritical, because I have taste testings of different things on my channel and all that jazz, but believe me, and I stress this every time that I post something about diet, I do not eat that on a regular basis. Everything I try, it's given to my other mates. Like, it's none of it I actually just eat fully. I mean, you know, except, I don't know, sometimes like cookies and stuff like that are small or whatever. But the alcohol is shitty. When I got back out onto the water, one, I had to go for my captain's license, which is actually, easy/hard. It's just totally different, and you really have to be on your A game. You definitely can't be drinking all the time. So, I learned a lot of things. I learned that I had a problem, but it wasn't like it was the dangerous kind of alcoholic problem, where I could function. It was socially acceptable. You live out on the ocean, everyone fucking drinks, especially in little port towns. I mean, it's just like a normal thing. Okay, so then I had a problem. My third thing is that, and I always knew it, but thinking about it, my mom drinks, my dad drinks, both very heavily. My little brother drinks, Andrew, who I just lost to heroin and methamphetamines, all he did was drink. And so it runs in the family. Addiction runs in the family. So I'm, one, I have treatment now, or at least I'm treating myself, and I don't want to drink anymore. Two, it's not fun anymore. You know, I really don't need it. Three, I'm at the point where, like, and I'm gonna hear screams from people, but I don't think I need meetings. I don't think I need any of that. I'm at the point where alcohol, just, let me back up real quick. Just some backstory to it. When I got this new job for salmon, it was like a 6-pack and 2 hard drinks a day. I mean, it was pretty darn intense. And now it's down to a drink or 2 a night. And where I want to get it down is 1 or 2 drinks a week. I don't want us to stop totally, but I want the drinks to be healthier, like wine, and I don't want it to be prevalent. There's this thing on, so it's definitely gone down is what I'm saying, but there's this thing on how much you should be drinking, and it's like 2 to 3 units or something like that. And anyways, the units break down to, like, you know, a pint a day, and then you have 2 off days. I still think personally that's too much. I think it's a little bit too much. So right now for my addiction, it's at the point where I'm not shaking, I'm not throwing up. Like, I've been researching about alcoholism at this point, and I'm like, I could be a lot worse. But right now where I'm at is that it's just been in my system for so long. It's a bad habit, and right now I'm not like, oh, I'm shaking. I'm at the point where it's like you're on a diet and you see cake in the window and you're like, oh, I want that cheesecake so bad, but I can't have it because I'm on a diet. That's where I'm at. So the first thing about treating myself, because I told you guys that I was going to be documenting what I'm doing, is the alcohol thing. So right now I'm like 3 days with no alcohol, and it's definitely like, wine. Like, actually wine, like, not like the wine, the drink. I'm a hard alcohol person, and a beer person. I fucking love beer. So I go to the refrigerator every morning and think that I'm going to have alcohol. Literally. I at least, like, I don't even drink in the morning anymore. I just check to see if I have it, and I walk away. And it's just, every morning, it's just like, that is the walk of shame for me, is just going to the refrigerator, not knowing there's something there, and walking out. And I'm lucky right now, because right now I parked myself at a port where I'd have to walk like 2 miles to get to the nearest store. And I think that's the most important part, is that unless I was like wanted to walk 2 miles, which I could, but in the shitty Oregon weather that we're having right now, I'm just kidding, Oregon, I love you. You know, it would be hard to get there. I could definitely get alcohol, but I think making it literally hard for you to get is definitely the number one thing to make me stop drinking. I mean, 3 days, all of a sudden quit cold turkey. I'm not saying that everyone can do that. But I'm saying, when I was looking up alcoholism and stuff like that, I think there's a difference between a hardcore alcoholic and someone that just has a really bad habit. And I think, honestly, I just have a really bad habit. Like, me personally, I want to get rid of it. And I think the big part of why it's kind of so easy for me to stop and I'm just like sitting here whining is because I'm not depressed. I don't have any mental disorders like schizophrenia or anything like that. I'm one of those people that if I was homeless, as long as my dog and my cats were happy and safe, I mean, then there couldn't be anything better in my life. So I could literally lose everything, which has happened to me twice, and I'd be pretty legit and okay about it. So, I guess what I'm saying is, when you have a bad habit and stuff like that, really evaluate how bad you have it. That could be really dangerous for an actual alcoholic. So that's why I'm saying, please don't take my advice. Kind of take my advice. Kale! My poor cat. And the other part is if you're going through chemotherapy, radiation, or if you're going through any other cancer treatment, like me, I'm doing the stem cell thing, don't drink. Like, it's pretty serious. Even if you're doing stem cells and stuff like that, like carbohydrates and stuff like that, and sugars, man, that shit will kill you. That shit will kill you faster than any drug out there, any chemotherapy, radiation out there. That'll kill you fast enough. So, thankfully, I have support of, my friends and my family, and I think if I nip this in the bud, I'm gonna nip this in the buck. It's gonna be great if 6 months later I'm just like, I'm shaking and I'm like, I was totally wrong. But, it's 3 days without it and I'm fine. I mean, it's like I miss it, so I think there's a difference between that. Real quick, I'm going to charge my phone and then I'm going to give you an analogy and then I'll split with you guys. Look at my pretty fur head. Hee Alright, so my analogy to you guys was, and I heard it in an AA meeting, it was, think of addiction, try to think of addiction a little bit differently. Think of somebody who has a peanut allergy, and they have peanuts and they go to the hospital, and they almost die, they almost choke and die, and they wake up and they're like, holy crap, that is the sickest I've ever been. I never want to be that sick again. And is there any way to avoid that, And the doctor says, yeah, don't eat fucking peanuts anymore. And that person will stop. So, with an alcoholic, it is, you can sit there and get drunk as a motherfucker. You could be passed out. And the next morning you get sicker than a dog, and everybody who's ever drank, even if you're not an alcoholic, is like, oh my god, I'm never doing that again. I'm never drinking that much. I'm never gonna be lying on this floor sick as a dog, but we do it again. And it's just this cycle. It's just this, I'm not gonna do it again, I can't stop myself. And that's when you need help. And whether help comes from, it's just you telling yourself you can't do it and conditioning yourself, or going to an AA meeting, because those AA meetings, oh my god, they're amazing. Smart fucking people. And you don't even have to go to AA meetings. Do what I did and go online. There's tons of stuff, just tons of tips that you can do. Anyways, a few of them that I was going to share with you is keep carbonated water and like fuzzy drinks and stuff on you all the time, so you're just constantly drinking, especially if you're on the computer like me all the time, just like have it right there and constantly drink something. I also do something that's a little bit weird. I actually have alcohol on this boat, and I have a bottle of vodka, and I've put a line around it, or the last time I drank, which was, a few days ago, and it's almost like you have it here, you could have it, but then it'd almost be shameful to have it, to go past that line, because you're trying to do something. So anyways, on all of my people have the same days off, and that's when I'm going to drink, but even on those days, I don't want to really drink as much as I did, because I'm the party chick. I'm that, you see me with my eye patch usually, like right now, I can't see you guys. My dominant eye's like super big, and this one's like super small. But I'm that weird chick that sits there and drinks and, parties hard and all that jazz, but I don't really like to be that chick. I party pretty well without alcohol, but you get in a bad habit, man, and just like that. I'm assuming all of you guys that smoke out there that are listening to me, I'm sure this one day it was like, you realize that you might have a problem, and that's kind of how it went from then on. But as I said, we all do different ways, just like smoking cigarettes. We all do different ways to stop. Like, some of us started vaporizing. Some of us, like me, switched to weed. By the way, not stopping weed. I vaporize weed. Me and weed are legit, alright? It's perfectly safe for what I'm doing. And some of us do patches. Some of us quit cold turkey. Just like what I'm doing with my chemotherapy and radiation treatments. There's always other options out there. You know, not the shoe doesn't fit every foot, you know, so just keep positive, do something better for yourself, and the number one way to combat bad habits is to do something to kind of have you ignore it. Like me, I like drinking when I'm like sitting down and doing nothing or just chatting with friends. So what I've been doing is I've been just, you know, going for even longer runs and, you know, taking up more science slots and just doing everything that I possibly can to just stay active, whatever. And that's totally helped. So, yes. I don't know how to end videos. I love you very much. Thank you for listening to my story. If anybody else has problems out there with drinking, or you don't think you can control yourself, you know, seek help. You know, talk to somebody. I mean, it's super easy. It's actually not super easy, but the action alone is easy, and you'll feel so much better. And you will realize that you have way more support than you think you do. So, I love you! Sorry for the depressing video. Han Han.